And we are live downtown Boston right here on The Score for the Raptors and the Celtics. Another sellout there, 22nd of the season of 18,624 to catch NBA basketball. And bringing you the pictures tonight and everything that's going on with the Raptors in Boston is our producer Paul Graham, our director Troy Clara, along with Matt Bloom and John Russin as the Raptors take on Boston. Raptors check in 22-19. Leo, the starting lineups.
Up front for the Toronto Raptors, Jamario Moon, Bargnani, who we talked about, that needs to get going, and Bosch up against Pierce. Perkins, who's playing very good basketball, shooting better than 60% in the last couple of games, and Kevin Garnett, the energizer for this team. In the backcourt, Calderon Parker, Rajon Rondo, and Ray Allen. Ray Allen nailed that three-point shot in Toronto to beat the Raptors in overtime. A tremendous start from the outside. The Raptors have to be conscious of where he is at all times.
And James Posey is a no-go, out with an index finger on that right hand. The head coach of the Raptors is Sam Mitchell.
Well, Sam Mitchell realizes he's downplayed this matchup in this particular game, as it's not really a statement game, Chuck, but I really think deep down he wants to get one here in Boston to prevent the sweep and show the Celtics they can play with them.
Doc Rivers headed to the All-Star game as the head coach of the Eastern Conference squad, and Doc Rivers played in the All-Star game back in 1988 as an Atlanta Hawk.
Doc Rivers was a tremendous player, and Chuck, as a player, he was defensive-minded. He'd get in your face and he'd be very physical, and that's what he has brought to the Celtics team. They're the best defensive team in the NBA.
And our IBM winning strategies.
Come out fighting. The Raptors have lost all 3 games, and they haven't been the aggressors. You need to do that, especially on the road. The first quarter, so important in establishing how you want to play. Don't shy away from the hoop. Raptors shooting below 40% this season against Boston. Get to the basket, get to the free throw line, and 3 is not enough. Don't allow a Fab 4. Okay, 3 is enough. 3 is enough. I mean, you have enough of these guys. Don't allow somebody else to step up and get it done.
Chris Bosh. He could be headed to the All-Star game, making his 3rd appearance, as Bosch averaging a double-double against Boston of 18 and 11 boards. Meantime, Garnett against the Raptors shooting 53%, averaging 20 points and 9 boards. And career-wise, he has just eaten up the Raps as a member of Minnesota. And now Boston, and Paul Pierce, he is shooting, Leo, against the Raptors this year, only 38%. Ray Allen missed 1 ball game of this series. As a matter of fact, Bosch and Bargnani did not play here in Boston.
Obviously, not having Bosch was a huge hit in that game here the last time they met.
So the Raptors a game under 500 on the road, and they'll be home Friday night to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. But Kevin Garnett has been the story, a legitimate MVP candidate, as he has brought the passion back to this city. And Ray Allen coming in from Seattle. Paul Pierce gladly gave up the throne, so to speak, of having to be the main man. The 3 guys have checked their egos at the door.
Well, Chuck, the one guy you have to take a backseat to Kevin Garnett. His personality demands that he becomes the leader of the team, really in every aspect.
Celtics give it up only 87 a game, best in the NBA. Teams are shooting only 41%, best in the NBA. And they run a play for Bosch. Bosch on Perkins, bobble the ball and turn it over.
Rajon Rondo, a very active defensive player, Chuck, did a great job of coming down and knocking that ball away.
Perkins, as you mentioned, Leo, with 24 against the Knicks on Monday. 22 came in the first half. Here's Perkins, comes up strong and draws the foul and will shoot 2. It was a career-high 24 as he just ate up Eddie Curry at Madison Square Garden.
And that's the way this young man plays. Very, very good at moving without the basketball. Pierce makes the drive. He steps to the open spot, goes up strong. Jamario Moon gets there a little bit late, but Perkins an opportunity scorer, as Doc Rivers calls him.
This quarter on The Score brought to you by Capital One. What is in your wallet? If Perkins, you mentioned the Fab 4, if Perkins can step up, because anything he gives you right now is a bonus offensively, Leo. He doesn't get a lot of plays run for him, if any.
Well, that's what Doc said. I mean, he's an opportunity scorer in that there were no plays called for him, and he scored 24 points by rebounding, getting the offensive glass, and moving to the open spot. But you're right. You get a guy like that consistently putting up numbers, watch out.
Anthony Parker knocks it down.
I think it's very important to put pressure on Ray Allen and Paul Pierce at the defensive end, Chuck. Don't let them rest and relax, and that's why guys like Parker have to be involved.
Rondo slicing behind the back pass to Ray Allen. 10 on the clock. In traffic, off his hands, turns it over. And the Raps on the break. They want to run every opportunity against this Boston team.
Very, very, very good point. You want to run as much as you can, put them in transition situations where if they can play their game, they're going to dominate.
And the high-low feed deflected on the other end. Kevin Garnett with a dunk from Ray Allen. I'd say that's a high percentage shot.
And this Celtics team very good at picking their spots, Chuck. They're just not going to get out and run. They will pick their spots, but they will hurt you in transition.
Andrea Bargnani stops, pops, fires, and hits.
Excellent job of using the dribble, the big fella.
And a three way off the mark by Ray Allen. This is early first quarter action with Calderon on a switch. Line to the lane, to the cup, up and good.
You talk about putting pressure on defenses. When Jose Calderon comes off that screen, Chuck, he's such a threat to score from the perimeter, and he's got the speed to turn the corner and drive it to the basket. But taking care of the basketball, especially when you're on the road, so important. Not a great pass inside here to Bargnani, and the Celtics, they take advantage of mistakes, come right down the floor, and the big fella is running, getting down on the break.
So that foul goes against Andrea Bargnani, his first, second team. The other one against Jamario Moon. Garnett, double on the ball, up and good. Kevin Garnett.
I think people forget how good that his touch is around the basket, Chuck. He gets in the paint, he gets up so high, you're not going to block it.
Andrea Bargnani, you can read up from downtown Winnipeg. That goes out to Greg Lernout, watching our game tonight on The Score. So Andrea, off to a nice start. Bargnani working against Garnett, up and out. And if this goes against Andrea Bargnani, this is going to be his second. But I believe Joe Forte has called a foul on Bosch. That's going to be his first.
Well, a couple things. One, great that Bargnani's off to a good start offensively. And you know that Doc Rivers is going to do this. If Bargnani hits a couple of shots, get it to Garnett this matchup and attack Bargnani. See if you can get him into early foul trouble, which has been the case for Andrea.
There's Garnett, makes the first of two.
Now, what was the first shot Bargnani made tonight, Chuck? Off the dribble. Second shot, the three-pointer, the legs are into the shot. It seems that every time he can shoot off the bounce, his legs become a bigger part of his shot. Then when he goes to the three or the shot off the catch, it's a better look.
So Bargnani in the ball game with 5. Garnett with 6 of Boston's 7 points. Bargnani working on Garnett to the rim, using the left hand, and draws the foul. A very aggressive Andrea Bargnani.
Now, who said this kid was struggling? Coming out here and just attacking and being aggressive. Excellent start for Andrea Bargnani. Catches the ball. Now he's made a couple of shots. Puts the ball on the floor, knowing that people are going to run at him, and draws the foul. Big advantage, Chuck. When you can shoot the ball and people are now worried about it, he's got good quickness. He's got that good first step and can create some space off the dribble.
He's had 8 straight single-digit scoring games.
Yeah, and you know, I think there's so much emphasis right now on his rebounding and his defense, or lack of it, that I think you forget one major point, Chuck. He's a tremendous offensive player, and you want that offense. Remember last year, how much talk did you hear about his rebounding and defense? Not much, because you got great offense out of him. The other areas are come, but let him do what he does best, and that's where he's got to get back to being Andrea Bargnani. And then the rebounding will improve, the defense will improve.
He was so good in the games 4, 5, and 6 of the Nets playoff series. And he has a high skill set. Jamario Moon off the mark.
It tells you, you know, confidence, as you say, Chuck, is one of the slipperiest surfaces of them all. And Andrea Bargnani has definitely slipped, but he can get it back.
Garnett swings it to Rajon Rondo. And this is Paul Pierce. Pierce ejected on Monday with the Knicks and Quentin Richardson, and Paul Pierce, who always plays well against the Toronto Raptors.
Well, and Doc Rivers also had a few things to say with Pierce, you know, spending time on the sidelines, talking to some guys from the New York Giants, saying, hey, focus in on the game. Don't need to be that friendly during the course of the game. Nice job. Calderon to Bosch.
So Bosch will go to the free throw line and 1 on this foul by Ray Allen.
Calderon has come out in this game looking to go to the basket, and as a result, when the help is there, somebody is open. Bosch doing a great job with a catch and a finish. See, I'm old school like Doc Rivers, Chuck, and I think Sam Mitchell would be jumping right on that as well. You don't need to talk to everybody on the sidelines. You're out here to play ball, and worry about doing all that when the game is over and you're showered up and you got your suit on, not in your uniform.
And Paul Pierce with the deflection by Moon. Yeah, I agree, Leo, and it's good that Doc Rivers came out and really challenged his own players publicly. It's one thing to take them aside, but he went after them in the press.
Well, and I think now's a good time, Chuck, because you're at the halfway point. You're having a great start to your season. You don't want guys getting too comfortable. Put a little edge back into the game.
Paul Pierce, no go from three-point range. I mean, there are times when you want to air some dirty laundry, and then most of the time you don't. But in this case, the players needed to hear there committing just too many technical fouls. That Jamario Moon, no.
Now, we talked about Jamario Moon. He's been playing well, but this is a game where he's got to step up even more. He's got to make those shots and again, not be afraid to put on the floor and go to the rim. Challenge Garnett and company.
Garnett from 18. Boston is 3 for 8. The Raptors are 5 of 7. Nice pass as Calderon. A little bit too much spin on that, but good intentions for Jose Calderon trying to hook up Anthony Parker breaking to the cup.
Yeah, good idea. That one might be a better one where you put it up. Throw it towards the rim and let Parker go get it as opposed to that bounce pass. Not a lot of room to get through.
Raptors with their third turnover in the quarter. Ray Allen from the elbow. We've seen that a few times, folks.
He's just so quick getting that shot off. Preparation is everything for a shooter, and he's ready to let it launch as that ball is touching his fingers.
Well, you talk about releases, Leo. We have 3 players here tonight with Capono, Allen, and Bargnani with some of the quickest releases in the league. And that's a turnover, and that's number 4 for Toronto.
And, those are the turnovers that you just have to avoid. Really not that much pressure, not really a forced turnover. Have to maintain your composure. Take care of the possessions.
It's a Boston team with Rondo. A lot of pressure on this young man.
He's responded. And I think he's getting a lot of confidence from the guys on the floor. They're really helping him out, telling him, hey, keep it simple, play great defense. You don't have to make great passes, just move the ball. And when you're open, take your shot. Don't be afraid to go to the basket.
Calderon floats a pass to Parker. Working off an Andrea Barney screen, and Andrea, nope.
That's a good shot, though. It's a good shot, and he was ready to shoot.
Ray Allen goes upstairs and thrown down again by Kevin Garnett, and we are tied at 14.
Well, how quick do they come back at you? You missed the shot, and if you're not a rebounder, the Raptors have to get this. If you're not a rebounder, get back, because the Celtics are going to run.
Another turnover down the floor, leaking out. Rajon Rondo, and the Raps need a timeout. That's the 7-0 run. The Raptors committed 5 turnovers, leading to 8 Boston points. Jose Calderon, Andrea Bargnani, and now they take time with 17 on the clock and 5:52 to go. So we have a timeout here in Boston with Garnett with 8. And then as Ray Allen going up top with Garnett with a dunk. The big 3 of Boston up 5-2. As we return to Boston with our Ford Coach's Edge, featuring the head coach of the Raptors, Sam Mitchell, who has the task of stopping not 1, not 2, but 3 superstars.
Well, they're playing well. Those 3 guys, 3 Hall of Famers, probably, and 3 All-Stars this year. But their bench has really picked it up. Doc is getting a lot out of the bench. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and this is definitely a tough game. I mean, you're talking about the best team in the NBA so far this year, and it's going to be a challenge for us to win. We got to have the same mentality that we had when we went down San Antonio and beat them, because San Antonio was playing very well. They had lost only 1 game on their home court when we beat them, and so Boston had some tough games. They lost a few games, but they're still a great basketball team, and right now they're the favorites to win the East, obviously, but we just got to come out. I just want to see our guys just go out, execute the things we've been practicing, and bring that to the floor, and we'll be fine.
Well, thus far, Leo Relton's, the execution has not been there. 6 first-quarter turnovers.
Well, how did the Raptors beat San Antonio? They were aggressive, they challenged them defensively, and they took care of the basketball. And you look at the Raptors right now, they have 7 turnovers.
Bosch forced it up and blocked by Perkins.
See, there you go. 7 turnovers and a forced shot. You got to get away from that. You have to be patient. Make the Celtics work at the defensive end. They're a very good team. If you rush, you play into their hands.
This is Perkins just muscling up a shot over Andrea Bargnani, and it's off the mark. Bosch from 15, book it.
And see, simple game right there. Put the ball on the floor, attack, you get people moving, you get open looks, and that's where that patience has to come into play, Chuck.
Bosch with 5 points, 3 boards, 2 teams tied at 16 with 4:45 remaining first quarter. Rondo, change of pace, dribble drive all the way to the cup as he beat the Raptors. Jose Calderon at the top of the circle, and he didn't receive any help defense.
No, he's been very good at that this season. You really want to try to make him a shooter because he will get to the basket. He likes to drive.
And a big splash for Jose Calderon. So the Raptors knocking down their first 2 triples. And the Raps lead by 1. This is Garnett over Andrea Bargnani. Got it.
That's okay. If Andrea Bargnani can stay down, get a hand up on those shots, you want to make the Celtics all jump shooters. Obviously, you have Ray Allen on the floor, but you want to make the rest of the guys jump shooters, not drivers and penetrators. Garnett
with 10 first quarter points.
No, too dangerous.
Yes.
Too dangerous to pass, especially in a close game. Rajon Rondo would talk about his abilities this season, what he's been doing here. Quick move, driving the basket, no help. Nobody recognizing that, everybody glued to their man. At the other end, Jose Calderon, good movement. He can bury that shot.
So it's 20-19, Boston by 1. We have Jason Capono checking in for the Raptors. Garnett, nope. Wanted a foul. Doc Rivers adamant.
I think Doc Rivers
says nope.
I think he's got a pretty good case, but Andrea did a good job of staying in front of Garnett.
And we go the other way. Pierce against Jamario Moon. Ray Allen driving to the rim, rejected by Chris Bosch. And Jamario Moon slashing, giving it up. Andrea Bargnani, wide open 3. Got it.
Took his time, made sure he was set, knocked it down. A lot of confidence early. This is a good sign for Sam Mitchell and the Raptors.
Bargnani filling it up with 10 here in the opening quarter, and the Raptors by 2 with under 3 minutes remaining. Ray Allen passed up a 3, the 17-footer dead on.
So that's the part of Ray Allen's game I love, Chuck. Everybody thinks of him as a great shooter, but he's also a great mid-range shooter, and he's not afraid. He will go to the basket. He will get to the free throw line. And he scores in transition by driving it, not always settling for the shot.
And he's second in the league, talking about Ray Allen in free throw percentage. Ben Gordon, number 1. Allen is number 2 at 92%. Calderon is number 3 at 91%. That ball tipped in the air. A new shot clock at 24. Tied at 22 with the Celtics. Here's Allen giving it up. Kendrick Perkins with the layup.
There's another example of Allen again, putting that ball on the floor. Everybody's worried about the jump shot, but he always keeps the defenses honest. Nice drive, patiently finding the open Kendrick Perkins.
Raptors shooting 53%. Boston at 50%. Calderon. Yes.
He's got that jump shot going. Smooth shot, reacting to Rondo. Rondo reached, and that's when Calderon used the screen.
Well, Leo, maybe he could be playing for Doc Rivers at the All-Star game
that would be
in
nice.
New Orleans. That would be nice.
I tell you, he certainly deserves to be there.
He's 3 for 3. Here's Garnett. Beautiful drive on the baseline with a feathery touch with a finger roll. Garnett with 12.
A little confusion there between Andrea Bargnani and Jason Capono.
Calderon with 7. Bargnani with 10 in the ball game. Calderon with a tough shot. And Rondo. Pierce on Jamario Moon. So you've got Garnett with 12, Pierce with 5, and Ray Allen with 5.
I'll tell you the story here early. Every turnover and every quick missed shot, the Celtics have capitalized on. When the Raptors have been a little bit more patient and taking care of the ball, they've done a good job offensively.
This has been a game of runs as Calderon way short, grazed the front rim, and leaking out, intercepted by Calderon. Calderon stops from the free throw line and buries it.
Now, he should have just come down and taken that, but he's so unselfish. He took his last one. So, but I need to take this shot.
That snaps a 7-0 run by Boston. Rondo almost traveled. Yep, that's a charge on Perkins, no question.
Nice job by Raptors stepping up on Rondo.
That's Boston's third turnover. So Jose Calderon and Andrea Bargnani. That's your story for the Raps. They've combined for 19 first quarter points. Welcome back. Chuck Swirsky, Leo Rautenstead, and Burke on the score. Gatorade Game X Factor tonight. Leo selected Big Baby Davis, who's played well for Boston off the bench. I selected Andrea Bargnani.
Well, let's talk about Andrea Bargnani, your pick, Chuck. He's come out in this game. Great start. How about defensively? Here against Garnett, maintaining his position. Doc Rivers wanted a foul, but good job staying between Garnett and the basket. And then a little confusion. He wanted to switch with Capono. Capono came back to pick up his own man. By the time Bargnani reacted, Kevin Garnett was going to the basket. So again, a little communication issue there, but the young man off to a good start in this ballgame.
So for the Raptors, Leo, you've got Bosh, Bargnani, Calderon on the floor, Capono, and Moon. And they go into the block with Bosh at a spin and a reach-in foul, Leon Poe.
Yeah, Poe's actually been playing well for the Celtics as of late. Here's a guy that comes in and goes after the ball, a physical defensive player that loves to rebound as well. And with Garnett out of the game, you know he's got to step up.
This is a physical player, as Leo mentioned. Poe, second-round pick out of Cal in his second year. This is Bosh fouled, and Poe's got two quick ones just off the bench.
Well, and that's what you want to do. You got a young man coming in. You know, he's got a lot to live up to. Garnett comes out of the game, attack him, especially from Chris Bosh.
And Bosh averaging 11 free throw attempts in his past 6 games.
When you got a guy with that outstretched arm, that every good offensive player will take look at that and say, hey, that's my opportunity to get to the free throw line. When a guy locks his arm on you like that, drive that ball through the arm and hopefully pick up the foul.
So, Leo, we've got some more changes now with Dixon coming in and Nesterovic with Bargnani and Calderon leaving. So let's reset with Nesterovic along with Bosh, Moon, Dixon, and Capono. Eddie House is coming in this scenario, Leo, with Eddie House and Tony Allen on the floor. Boston, according to published reports, they're waiting for the buyout of Damon Stoudemire with 3.9 seconds remaining. And Rondo was fouled. The Raps had a foul to give with 1.9. And with Allen more of a defender and Eddie House more of a shooter, they're looking for a point guard, a veteran, to spell Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, somebody that wants to come in and be on a part of a winning team. That's where Stoudemire's name keeps coming up.
So the Raptors down by 1 here in the first quarter with 1.9 seconds remaining. And Paul Pierce will inbound. Time to get one shot. Scalabrine back to Pierce. Good if it goes. Ribbied out. They have a long clock here in Boston.
Home court.
So Kevin Garnett with 12 here in the quarter to lead Boston. As far as the Raps, 10 for Andrea Bargnani, 9 for Jose Calderon. It's 29-28, Boston at home, leading by 1. We'll return. We'll go to period number 2 in a moment from Beantown, Boston, Massachusetts, home of the Celtics, right here on The Score. Welcome back to Boston. Chuck and Leo with you, our President's Choice first quarter stats.
A very positive first quarter for the Raptors. They're shooting better than 50%. So is Boston. But remember, the Raptors haven't played this well against the Celtics. The Raptors' turnovers hurting them a little bit, but they're playing even across the board. And think about this, Chuck. This Celtics team only allows teams to score 87 points a game. Raptors already have 28. So they're doing a good job. Take care of the ball. Get good shots.
Here's Paul Pierce. Has to jack it up and scores. Now, that was an unorthodox looking shot.
Well, notice what he did. Remember that foul Bosh drew against Poe? That's exactly what Pierce just tried to pull off on Dixon. However, Dixon pulled his hands away, and he never was able to get the foul, but he made the shot.
So Chris Bosh has identified Leon Poe as a guy that he really wants to go after.
Victim number 1.
Eddie, I like the jump shot house in the ball game.
No, Eddie, I never met a shot I didn't like.
Pierce against Carlos Delfino. We'll talk about Delfino in a moment when the Raps have the basketball. As that shot popped out, Delfino played very well against Sacramento, but he's gone scorelessly over the last 2 games, totaling 43 minutes.
Oh boy, another turnover there for Toronto. But we talked about Delfino after that game. The Raptors don't need him to score 26 every night, but he can't just drop off and completely disappear as he has. Just consistent numbers night in and night out, and he has to find that middle ground, which it's been a little tough this season. He's had the nice stretches of good and some stretches of real tough games.
Allen with 4 on the clock. The pull up, 12-footer is good.
He's playing better too. You talk about different role players stepping up for Boston. At the beginning of the season, he's still coming back from that knee injury, and physically he was okay, but the injury was bothering him between his ears, Chuck. He just couldn't let go of the injury. Now he's just playing basketball much more comfortable in his leg.
That's why you see that apparatus on his left leg. Another turnover.
Well,
this is getting ridiculous.
But
this
where are they coming
the
from?
8th turnover, Leo, in the first half.
Right, but you see the frustration on Sam Mitchell's face. Where are they coming from? The Raptors are trying to make the great passes, the tough passes. This is a pass that better be on the money, or it's going to be a turnover. Whereas when the Raptors move it, they're scoring. So be patient. I keep saying that in this game especially, against a great defensive team. Move bodies, move the ball, be patient.
You cut these turnovers in half, Leo. I mean, Boston has scored 10 points off these turnovers.
Fast break points, 9-0 Boston. Points in the paint, 14-4 Boston, because they're capitalizing on mistakes. And again, those quick shots that are missed.
So this is Tony Allen, who played with Joey Graham at Oklahoma State University. Fewest turnovers in the league with the Raps and Detroit.
That's right. Raptors almost at their season average already. And, one of the reasons the Raptors are successful, their assist-to-turnover ratio, something we always talk about with Jose Calderon, is very, very good. The Raptors move the ball, but they take care of it at the same time. And this game can't be an exception to that.
Capono feeding Bosch. Let's see if he gets some help. And that's a charge as Bosch goes tumbling down and Poe.
I posted, I had enough of this. I'm tired of getting abused by this guy. I got to come up with something. Nice job of stepping in here, anticipating where Bosch is going to go. And for Chris Bosch, Chuck, 5 turnovers in the game.
9 collectively for the Raptors as Andrea Bargnani comes in for Bosch, who leads with 2 personal fouls in 14 minutes, go along with 9 points and 4 boards. Raptors committed 16 turnovers, leading to 17 Philadelphia points when the two teams last played on Saturday night in Philadelphia. Tony Allen way short, deflected, and this will be Boston ball. Anthony Parker returns. He started, played the first 8 minutes with a couple of points. He's coming in for Capono as Capono plays 5 minutes and returns to the bench. Scalabrine, Pierce out of pump, and he walked.
If we can touch on Capono, we saw Capono leave the game, and it makes a difference for Jason when he's not in the game with a Jose Calderon, because a Jose Calderon can set up a Jason Capono much easier than, say, a Juan Dixon can, and that's just the nature of their games. It's not a knock on any player, and I think that's been a tough thing this season without having TJ Ford around.
That is an excellent point. Count it in the foul. If we can stay on that subject, Leo, because what's happened is that Capono's his level of play has dropped off, and it's no one's fault. I mean, it's because of an injury.
Well, he's a shooter. He's a shooter that comes off screens making shots, much like and Ray Allen, as we see him coming in here. Ray Allen is a guy who can maybe create a little bit more. Jason Capono depends on the point guard and distribution of that basketball when he moves without it, because he is a tremendous shooter. He's proven that throughout his career. But that's where, again, the effect of a TJ Ford comes into play, because if he was here, if Jose comes out, TJ's in. If TJ's in, Jose's out. It works out well.
I've had so many scouts over the last couple of weeks ask about Capono because they really like him as a player and thought it was a great sign
in the
offseason.
And you know what he's shown me, Chuck? That there's been some frustrating times, but you don't see it. He comes to work every day. He works hard. He doesn't complain about his minutes. Doesn't complain about not getting shots. I've been impressed with his attitude that he's brought to this team.
So we're going to take a break here. We have a timeout. 8:51 to play in the first half. 38-30 Boston. Well, Leo, is this the best start in Celtics history after 40 games?
Well, you can see the numbers, and they're right there among the best starts for the Boston Celtics, and 2 times with a record of 33-7, the Celtics have won a championship.
16 NBA titles, Leo.
Unbelievable.
And yet their last championship, it's hard to believe, over 20 years ago.
Oh, and it was a bad drop-off, Chuck. And you know, there are a lot of pressure, a lot of changes in Boston, but the guy that's turned it around here is Danny Ainge, former Toronto Blue Jay. And he's done a tremendous job.
Come on, Danny, turn around so we can get a good look at it.
You know, they went with 2 different schools of thought. First, Danny Ainge said, you know what, we're going to go young, we're going to revamp, and just build through youth. And I don't think you can do that today. With AAU being the place where players develop, you're not getting a player that's really smart enough to play the NBA game right out of high school. So then Danny Ainge all of a sudden had an idea, you know, maybe I can get Kevin Garnett. You know,
that helps.
Ray Allen, you know, compliment, keep Pierce here, and then find some guys that can just play roles around them. And he's done a tremendous job at revamping Boston and giving these fans something to cheer about again.
Well, as much as I love Big Al Jefferson, and I'm a huge Al Jefferson fan, as Bargnani filling it up.
And again, Chuck, this guy does not look like he's in a slump.
No.
He's shooting the ball at a very high level of confidence right now.
But they stole Garnett from Minnesota, Leo.
Well, you know, it was time to go, and I think Kevin Garnett, you know, did a favor to, I should say Ken McHale give Garnett a favor by letting him go and giving him an opportunity to go somewhere. And
that's going to happen right here.
No.
Not with Tony Allen.
Well, again, he's playing better. I mean, the one thing, the athleticism was a big part of his game, and the knee injury took a lot of that away, but it seems to be back.
Juan Dixon over Eddie House. And there's Scalabrine in traffic, just somehow managed to squeeze in the paint to come up with a board.
Well, that's what you want out of a Scalabrine. He's just a big banger that's got the soft touch, can step out and make a few shots. And, you know, they're hoping that he's going to be better in this environment with the big 3.
Tony Allen working against the smaller Juan Dixon on a post-up. Count it and a foul for Tony Allen, and the Celtics have increased their lead now to 10.
Well, the bench has been productive. These guys come in and they play hard, they play smart. Nice job by Allen going right up over Juan Dixon using his size.
Allen's probably got about 4 inches on him, so Dixon leaves. Delfino leaves. Moon and Calderon return, so Delfino plays 4 minutes. And Dixon off the bench played 5. Picked up 2 fouls as Tony Allen going to the free throw line. Tony Allen off the bench now with 12 points. And we talk about the job Garnett did in the first quarter. How about Tony Allen with 12?
Well, that's what Doc Rivers hopes to get, Chuck. You're not going to get the same thing every night, but the bench, and everybody questioned the bench. Nice shot there from Parker, the way he started the game at the elbow. But, you know, everybody questioned the bench of this Boston team, and they've stepped up. They've answered the questions thus far.
And here's the situation, Leo. They signed Damon Stoudemire. He's probably going to take minutes from Allen along with House.
Well, remember, Allen is he's not a point guard.
No.
You know, Damon Stoudemire is a point guard. And House, you don't want House handling the ball. You want House shooting the ball. I mean, right now they're using him handling the ball out of necessity, but he's a scorer, not a shooter, not a ball handler.
Ray Allen, the pull-up. Around the iron and out, 43-35 Boston, 7:22 to go. And this is Calderon, who played well with 9 points, 4 assists in the first quarter. Parker threw it away behind Osterevich. Here's Eddie House, running the floor. Tony Allen up and good. Tony Allen. In my opinion, he has been the story of this ball game now with 14.
He's been tremendous, and you know, the story of this game are the turnovers for Toronto. 10 turnovers that have led to 14 points now for Boston. And Chuck, you've seen the turnovers. They're not, you can't say they're all Boston defense. A lot of them are just casual turnovers by Toronto.
Jamario Moon, who you profiled, Leo, in the opening tease here on the score, drains his first jumper. He's got 2.
Yeah, and again, it's not just the jumpers in this game. It's a game where Jamario Moon has to be aggressive going to the basket and on the glass like that, although he couldn't keep it.
And then Moon and Calderon got their signals mixed up on the rebound.
Now we're talking about forced turnovers or unforced. That has nothing to do with defense. That turnover, and that just leads to a bucket for Tony Allen. And the Raptors have to eliminate those as much as possible.
Boston shooting 53%. Raps at 56%.
Yeah, and that's why Sam Mitchell's ready to pull his hair out, Chuck. You're shooting 56% against the best defensive team in the league. You got 37 points already, and you're giving it away. Can't do that.
I knew you'd get that hairline in somewhere. 3-ball miss by House. There is Scalabrine. Boy, he has played well. A lot of energy for Boston off the bench.
Scalabrine, he's a scrapper. You know, he's one of those guys, when he's in a game, that's what he's going to do, and you got to make sure you put a body on him every time. Oh boy.
Eddie House off the dribble. Normally we expect Eddie House to shoot anywhere from 20 to 25 feet. 16-0 bench points by Boston, 14 by Allen. And the Raps with Capono, Disturbance, Dixon, Delfino have all played and have not scored.
Well, what do you do on boards? Shot goes up, and check out the Raptors. They're watching, and there's no way a guy like Scalabrine can get in there. You got to put a body on it. You got to be physical.
And Disturbance picks up that loose ball.
Rasho very familiar with Kevin Garnett, having been a teammate of his, so I think he does a very good job when they match up against each other.
Parker, nice pass. Disturbance rimming, good, counted foul. That was set up gorgeously by Anthony Parker. The Celtics thought he was going to take a jumper. So Tony Allen, he's played 7 minutes. He's got 14 points. It's a pretty high percentage.
Not bad.
Our next 3 games right here on the TSN coming up on Friday with the Milwaukee Bucks. Then a huge back-to-back for the Raptors. TSN Tuesday from Washington, D.C. at the Air Canada Center on the Score with the Wizards. Now, it's time for one of my favorite segments, Ask the Expert, featuring my main man, Leo Rounds.
This is one of your favorite segments?
Yes, it is, because we get to put you on the spot, hear your opinions about what's going on. We receive a lot of great emails on Raptors.com, brought to you by Fido. Is a player credited with a field goal attempt if he misses a shot while being fouled?
No.
Okay.
But if he makes the shot, yes.
Very good.
That's
See,
it.
and that's
your
expert.
favorite, right? You love that. That's it in a nutshell right there.
Yes.
Now, if he misses, there's no field goal, but if he makes it, yes, you get credited. So that's the answer to your question, Tyler. Hope we got it all in there for you.
I think
Chuck,
we did.
We got Chuck excited, which is the key.
Yes. Now, Leo, you got Bargnani. Let's see. You got Nesterovic. You got Parker, Calderon,
I
and
love
Moot.
seeing you with a smile, Chuck. When you're smiling here in the sidelines, it just makes my day. You know?
I want to ask you another question, Leo, if I can. You're the expert about the Raptors' point guard situation other than Calderon, and until TJ Ford gets back and there's no timetable for his return. I mean, I have to believe the Raptors are still in the hunt for Damon Stoudemire. I think he'd be a great fit in Toronto.
You and I both know Brian Colangelo is a tremendous competitor, and if he can find some way to make his team better, tougher, he'll do that. And I think right now they're in a real difficult spot. In that, we're waiting on TJ Ford. They're not exactly sure what's going to happen, and even when he comes back, you're not really sure what's going to happen. You do have Derek Martin, and candidly, he struggled this season. Juan Dixon is being played out of position right now. So the Raptors really have that one point guard that they're relying on heavily. In January, Jose Calderon's playing about 40 minutes a game. Now, he's a young guy. He can handle those minutes. And I think everybody's rolling the dice. You hope that TJ Ford can come back into the mix, probably All-Star break after All-Star break. But the question is now, if Brian Colangelo, is he going to do something? Might he do something? And Brian's going to do whatever it takes to make this team better. And if that opportunity is there, and if maybe it's a Damon Stoudemire, maybe it's somebody else, I think he will do it.
Well, the best news is that Colangelo is proactive. Going to Boston, Stoudemire going to Phoenix. Don't discount that the Raps are in the running.
No, and you know what? If something doesn't happen, don't think that Brian Colangelo didn't try to do what's best for his team, because a nice shot there, Parker shooting the ball well. Brian's going to weigh all kinds of factors: the player, the contribution, the surroundings, the financial impact. So it's not just whether a player comes here or not that you view a general manager as being proactive or not.
The Raps have cut this lead, and Garnett rolls off the iron. It's 47-43 Boston with 4:35 remaining. Celtics have led by as many as 11. And Parker has given the Raps life with 8.
Well, Raptors have to be very, very happy with what they're capable of doing in this first half offensively. If they could just eliminate the mistakes, the silly mistakes, they'd be winning this ballgame.
Jamario Moon tried to go.
He's got to go up and dunk that shot.
Yes,
he's got to just go up and dunk it. Don't alter your shot because of the presence of somebody. Make them change it, but don't anticipate something happening. Go up. He's got all the athleticism. Hey, this guy's going to slam dunk contest. Time to warm up here.
Calderon from the baseline. The rainbow, nothing but eye line for Jose Calderon.
He's just playing. It's such a high level. Confidence shooting the ball, passing the ball. 5 of 7 here in the first half.
And Calderon talking with Jim Capers Jr. You know about that last shot? I think maybe I fouled.
More than a maybe.
In the Atlantic right now, it's all Boston, folks. As the Celtics have put it together early, they won their first 12 games, Leo, and they have never looked back.
They're doing a great job, and the Raptors have to find some way to make up ground now. How about New Jersey? There's a team that had a little stretch. They played well, and they are just falling off the map right now.
They have got to make a deal, in my opinion. All right, so we got March Madness right here on the Score, NCAA March Madness. You also get, Leo, the Final 8 CIS Men's Basketball Championship coming to March on the Score.
How about Dave Smart over at Carlton? Chuck's still continuing those winning ways.
How about Memphis, huh? Is Rose a great player or what? And I mean, I saw Kansas State play their last couple of games.
I'm talking about Dave Smart,
I know,
CIS,
but I'm
at
just
Carlton.
talking about the whole package.
You go to Memphis.
Okay.
Come on.
Dave Smart's a great coach. Rejected by Andrea Bargnani. Nice block.
Okay, you can talk Calipari. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying Memphis, that's what I've seen. Kansas.
No, they're a great team. They're a very athletic team.
Rondo's going to have to put it up. Nope. That ball did hit the rim, so play continues with 3:20 to go.
You know what? Also, if you look at this game, Chuck, if you take away the turnovers, Raptors are winning this game. And then you look at offensively, when they move the ball, they're doing a great job on their half court. And in the defense, when they set up their defense and make the Celtics work, they do an outstanding job there too. It's just the easy buckets they have to eliminate from Boston.
Raptors are shooting 55%. Boston has missed 5 straight shots. They're shooting at 46%, and they hold a 2-point lead. Parker swings it. Jamario Moon, the mid-range jumper, rimming out. Rebound Garnett. Again, this rally with Bosch on the bench with a couple of fouls.
Chuck, remember I made a point at the beginning of this game about Andrea and all the focus and everybody talking about what he can't do well. What's he done well in this game?
A lot.
No.
Defense,
What's he done well? What's his forte? What's his trademark? Shooting. He's got 12 points here. And nice job by Calderon, the Raptors defense, getting it done. But
now, is this a clear path? I think it is.
Take a look at it again. Everybody active, hands up, deflection. Calderon picks it up.
Well, that's got to be a clear path.
Yep. Now, I want to get back to Bargnani. Stepping up here, doing a great job of helping out Jamario Moon, getting the block. But the point I'm making, he's hitting his shots. He's comfortable offensively. By the way, blocking shots, 7 rebounds in this game. Everybody wants him to rebound. He's got 7 boards. He's got to be comfortable offensively and play his game, and the other things will follow.
What's followed Jose Calderon was a clear path foul on Ray Allen, so the Raptors are getting free throws and then the ball out of bounds.
Well, they're saying, Doc Rivers is saying, hey, by the time that foul was made, already down the floor, and he's trying to argue that point, but Capers right on that play. And right now, Sam Mitchell talking to Bargnani, hey, keep it up, big fella.
So this is a 10-0 run, so Allen's coming in. Tony Allen for Ray Allen, no relation. Doc Rivers is not going to win that argument.
Yeah, and, just an explanation on clear path. If there's nobody in front of the man with the ball and he's got a chance to get a layup, that's where you have the clear path scenario.
For the Celtics, number 42, Tony Allen.
So the Raptors have a chance to take the lead here with just over 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
Nice pass again.
Jose
Calderon. Nesterovic done a nice job off the bench, Chuck. Remember a while ago, there's no impact from anybody off the bench. Nesterovic, 5, the only scoring off the pine for Toronto.
Kevin Garnett, power move up and good.
Just a great job of using his size right there. Leaned in on Jumario Moon and finishes over the rim.
Calderon working the handle with 13 points, 5 assists. The pass out, Nesterovic to Jumario Moon.
See, so many good things happen when you get that ball inside. Nesterovic, he knows what to do with it, Chuck. He doesn't force a lot of shots. Kicks it right out the moon for a wide open look. I'll tell you, 51 points here in the first half for the Raptors. As I said, against a team that only allows 87 points a game.
Tony Allen jacks it up. Nope. Rebound, Raps. They lead by 2 with $1.17 and running. Calderon peels off a screen, finds Andrea Bargnani, giving it up to Jose Calderon. 3 ball. Got it!
That's a nice job by Andrea Bargnani. He's got the hot hand. He could have taken a shot, but he knows his teammate Calderon's been shooting the ball well. Makes that extra pass.
It's a 14-2 run by the Raptors, who lead 54-49.
Man, with Bosch on the bench, Chuck. So
Celtics are 1 for their last 7. Garnett working against Rasho Nesterovic, tied up.
See, that's a tough shot. Garnett wants a foul, but Rasho knows how to play Garnett. He's very comfortable against him, and he goes at him hard.
Parker deep in the corner and buries another 3. And for the Raptors, that is their 6th triple of the half, and the Raptors lead by 6. You have 3 players for the Raps in double digits. Parker, Calderon with 16, and Bargnani with 12 points, 7 boards, and 3 assists. The Celtics are 18-3 at home. Rondo up, count it, foul.
Well, you notice when the Raptors are able to keep the Celtics, keep them on the perimeter. Hey, if they're making shots, if you contest them, they still make it. That's one thing, but keep them on the perimeter.
That foul against Andrea Bargnani, his 2nd. Coming up at the half, our Capital One at the half. We'll have Edna and Burke in the studios. Plenty of highlights with the Wiz and Cavs, and an interview with Mike Evans, the assistant coach of the Raps.
20-second timeout.
You love an unselfish team, and that's something the Raptors have shown this season. Very unselfish. Andrea Bargnani shooting the ball well. Right now, nobody will complain if he takes a shot. Gets the ball from Calderon. Has got to look. Hey, you know what? I'm going to get a better shot for my teammate. He's got the hot hand, too. And pulls the defense, gives Calderon the look. Calderon 6 of 8 here in the first half, and Bargnani just playing with confidence. Pulling the D, moving the ball. Good basketball right there, Chuck.
As the Raptors from 3-point range this season, the stats speak for themselves. Number 1 in the league in that department. Capono still number 2, and Parker right there at number 4.
Yeah, how about 737 straight games with a 3? Not bad.
And the first, ironically, back in 99 came against Kevin Garnett, Sam Mitchell in Minnesota. 57-53 Raps. See what the Raptors run here. 5 seconds remaining. Here is Calderon. Turned it over. Down the floor. Rajon Rondo to the cup of the dunk with 1/10 of a second. My goodness. And that ends the first half of play. Wow. 11 turnovers for the Raps in that half, 16 points. But all told, good job for the Raps getting back in this game with Calderon, Bargnani, and Parker. So the Raptors go into halftime shooting 58%. 58% shooting against a Boston team that came in number 1 in the league, with opponents shooting only 41%. Good job for Toronto. Leah Rollins standing by with Omago, Andrea Bargnani.
Andrea, the big question is here, what did you have for dinner last night with Maurizio Gherardini? Because your jump shot is on tonight.
Yeah, we're way to talk. I mean, it's still the first half. We gotta try to don't make so much turnovers. We made a lot of turnovers, so we gotta try to take care of the ball.
You're playing with a lot of confidence right now. You're moving the ball. You're also getting involved on the rebounding end.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta play better. I play very bad from a month, so I don't want to talk about me. I just want to play.
All right, well, we're going to talk about you some more in the second half. Good luck there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, back to you, Chuck.
All right. Well spoken for the second-year player from Italy, Andrea Bargnani. So we are in Boston, and we're at the half, 57-55 Raptors.